Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and game 1 in a series between Azubu's San and Acer's Bly here on Neo Planet S. Azubu San, now a regular on my channel. This game is actually taken from the Zotac Cup, the most recent Zotac Cup. I do believe this to be a best of 3 series. We'll see what's going to be happening here in this series and what San and Bly have in store for us. This is going to be a ZVP in this best of 3, as we now see San spawning over here on the bottom left hand side of the map. It looks as though he will be going for a forge fast expansion, setting up that low ground pylon, and the key thing will be looking for whether he's going to be going for a forge first or a nexus first. Meanwhile, Bly already at 10 over 10 supply, using that extractor trick, getting into 11, and will be trading up some additional drones ever so quickly, as we now are seeing all the units make their way out. So far, Bly has not indicated what he is going for, neither has San, as both of them are still in the early stages of the game, but PvZ has really stabilized much ever since Heart of the Swarm. It really doesn't look like a lot of the Zerg players like using many of the new Heart of the Swarm units. Mutalisks got a superior upgrade, but Mutalisks in PvZ were already used in the past in certain situations. They're just now better at regenerating hit points and not immediately countered by 1 or 2 Psy Storms. Now, coming back around, we are going to see San now make his way in. He's going to be heading up that ramp in just a moment to take a look around. One thing I did want to say, I wanted to apologize for a little bit of a misstep I had in trying to do some of my recordings. Unfortunately, one of my hard drives failed, and it is just very hard drive data intensive in order to get everything record at 30 frames a second while not lagging the game at all. I actually go for a different route, a different method, just so that I can get you guys 30 frames a second without the recording software and limiting or doing anything overall, limiting the frames per second or limiting your experience whatsoever. But I think I have fixed everything. Unfortunately, I will be forced to buy new hard drives eventually, but let's go ahead and focus on the game instead, as we now see Bly moving around across the map. This is 6 Zerglings here, and it looks as though that photon cannon is already completed. That's going to be well in time of those Zerglings, and as long as that probe does hold position right there, he will be exactly fine. Bly, perhaps realizing that San's probe could be coming back already, was waiting for it, doesn't see it, and now what will we be having here to follow up next? That probe still dancing back and forth, as San is bringing over a probe who was very gung-ho, still has minerals in his mouth, and now making his move out across the map. Double gas now coming in from San. It looks as though the Cybernetics core will be placed down right there. I'm curious as the positioning on this pylon here. I would have thought that the pylon could have been placed right here instead, making it so that the Zerglings couldn't try and just slip by through that rather large opening. Then again, the Zerglings would probably all just get shot down there anyways, as we're now looking at San doing a very good job of keeping Bly in check, making sure he doesn't have any crazy expansions. Meanwhile, the Zerglings were able to do an easy run by there. That was a complete misstep, and that is what I was talking about. The probe just out of position as a zealot, now trying to make its way over. Meanwhile, Mothership Core now being chrono boosted out. The days of those Zerglings are numbered, as those Zerglings will not be able to really get away from that Mothership Core without running by that photon cannon once again. There you go, the Mothership Core is out. The Zerglings are going to start to get zapped away just a bit, as we now see these probes may be pulled away. Is a probe going to go down? It looks as though, yes, one does go down there, as Bly does first blood damage onto some of these units. Meanwhile, a Stargate now coming in, and does the Zerglings actually spot the building? Yes, it does, with an Overlord on the high ground here, as the Zerglings once again come back in. Bly is doing a great job, really just harassing heavily with these Zerglings here, and this is giving him a rather large economic advantage. 41 drones compared to 32 probes. However, we are still only sitting on 2 bases. Bly just now getting up that 3rd base, as the Zerglings now make their way in. Let's see. Let's take a look. Stargate, another probe may get taken down. Yes, we're already up to 4 workers killed. At the cost of 6 Zerglings. Already a good trade there, as the Mothership Core will finish off the Zerglings finally. Nope. One more attack should do it. The probes can just turn around and zap it if they ever so choose, as the Mothership Core is still playing a little bit of a race there, and the Zergling finally goes down. So far, Bly able to extend his economic advantage, now sitting at 44 drones to 39 probes. Workers killed 4-0. Let's take a look at the losses. 225 versus 174. But that will quickly change, as an Overlord will now be shot down. Second Phoenix now being trained, as the Overlord will get one last scout to figure out that it is going to be a second Phoenix. It's one of those things where if you are paying a very, very close attention, you can see what's actually being warped in through that Stargate, as that Phoenix will be joining that lonesome Phoenix already. 6 more drones now coming in, and it is now up to Bly to figure out how to keep his economic lead. So far, you can see a lot of chrono boosting and a lot of consistent micro coming in from San, making sure he doesn't fall behind too heavily. Now, Phoenixes are making a move around the map, doing a bit of scouting. He knows what's on the field, and Bly has to worry that San will be training up the exact right composition of units to destroy his army. So far, we're taking a look at Spore Crawlers here. Bly really wanting to let this game go into the economic stage, as the Phoenixes are brought over and Graviton beamed one at a time. 4 workers killed to 4 workers killed. However, these Phoenixes are much more expensive, 250 a pop compared to the 6 Zerglings that were used earlier this game, in order to get the same number of workers killed. Phoenixes will be backing off here. What will these Phoenixes perhaps be doing later on? You can see that, yes, the pneumatized carapace have been, in fact, researched, as the Phoenixes do get another kill there, and this has been very important. This small squadron of 3 Phoenixes have dealt the majority of the damage for San. He's been able to take down a couple of key overlords, minimize scouting, and now he's in actually a good position. You can see that he is looking to take up his 3rd base here off to the north, actually expanding towards his opponent, and curiously enough, away from this Overlord that is spewing creep. Now the Phoenixes will get another shot off here. It looks as though, yes, the Overlord will get taken down, as the Phoenixes do back off. And now what is happening here? Zerglings still trying to make their way over. The Phoenixes are just having a field day, and this is bad for Bly, not only because of the 100 resources lost, but because of the amount of larvae needed to retrain these Overlords. Another Overlord now going to get taken down, as you can see that the Phoenixes are going after these targets pretty quickly. However, a Phoenix does need to back off here, as we now see an army of Zealots, Mothership Core, Zerglings, and Immortals making their way in. Curiously enough, San has not placed down this Nexus yet, so we could be seeing an attack come in from Bly. Yes, thank you, neighbor with a motorcycle. Coming back in. Mothership Core is around the corner, getting in some easy damage here, as the Colossus now looking to snipe down this expansion. Let's see what's going to be happening. Oh, it looks as though the Zerglings may get handled here in just a moment. Zerglings are going to try to engage. They have nowhere to go. Where are those Phoenixes? The Phoenix is now going to engage against the Mutalisk, as the Phoenixes quickly get taken down. There is a Guardian Shield, but not enough, as Bly completely blindsides San with a flock of Mutalisks. However, being able to return home the use of that Mothership recall, an average player would have forgotten that ability, but no, San using it to great effect, taking all of his units back home. Some beautiful play to minimize his damage there. Bly could have taken the lead in just a moment. However, you can see now the Mothership Core with that Photon Overcharge coming in for an engagement. Guardian Shield not yet up. Are we going to see it as yes, another sentry does get taken down. Let's take a look back at this. The Mutalisks are able to regenerate rather quickly. You can take a look. Regenerating, I believe, 1 hit point a second. That is extremely fast, as we are now going into 4 bases for Bly. Bly with a 30 supply advantage, also with a 20 worker advantage, has his work cut out for him. He just needs to continue this lead that he is building upon. Meanwhile, the Protoss air weapons upgrades are being researched. Players sometimes wonder, do you want to get armor weapons upgrades or armor upgrades or weapons upgrades first when going up against Mutalisk. In a Mutalisk versus Mutalisk battle, you want to get the armor upgrades because of the reduction in the bounce damage. However, if you're going for Phoenixes, it really makes sense to get the weapons upgrades simply because of the fact that Phoenixes can move and shoot. As long as you micro your Phoenixes correctly, your Phoenix can take down an infinite number of Mutalisks, and you just want to take them down faster. So you want that, the rate of infinity to increase by getting higher weapon upgrades. However, we do not see a fleet beacon, and without a fleet beacon, these Phoenixes will be stuck at a range of 5. With a fleet beacon, they will have a range of 7, and that's simply a huge range. You go from the range of a Marine to the range of a photon cannon, and if you add in the fact that you can move and shoot at the same time, Phoenixes can absolutely destroy a flock of Mutalisks in just a matter of seconds. Also, you need it in order to deal with Corruptors, as Corruptors will take priority on targeting from those Phoenixes, and the Corruptors have superior range, so they will actually be able to fire back. Let's take a look at what's happening here. More Phoenixes being added. This is one of the few times where I am saying Mass Phoenix is a very good call here. Oh, one Corruptor. The shadow was in view, but StarCraft physics, unless you're in view, I can't see your shadow. Bly now coming in. Oh, it actually spots that Corruptor army, and now looking to disengage. Are we going to perhaps see the Photon, the crystal upgrades for those Phoenixes to get the additional +1 range? Here you go. We are going to go ahead and in engagement. Phoenix is now taking a lot of damage from those Corruptors. Guardian Shield is up, so the Phoenixes do have additional armor here. This is actually what the Phoenixes need, as the Zealots, Sentries, and Stalkers are now battling it out, trying to stay within that. The Guardian Shield is absolutely instrumental to that victory, as now San just won that battle with Mass Phoenix. He lost a handful of Phoenixes, but also because of the Guardian Shield, really took reduced damage. Alright, one poor Corruptor going to get taken out on his way in. Spore Crawler now trying to make its way in as well, as the Phoenixes are going to engage against all of those Mutalisks. Mutalisks getting shot down extremely quickly, as we're seeing more and more units fall. Guardian Shield really making it difficult for those Corruptors to take down the Phoenixes, as the Phoenixes are light units. Alright, the Phoenixes are now backing off here. The Mutalisks have pretty much been destroyed now, as the Stalkers have taken this battle, and a pure unit composition battle here on top of Guardian Shield really reduced the amount of damage that the Corruptors were dealing. Instead of 15 damage per attack, it was 13, and San is just taking this battle and now using the Stalkers to chase after Corruptor, keeping his Phoenixes alive. Production tab shows nothing for Bly, which is rather sad at this point. He will not be able to macro up a large enough counterattack or a counterforce here. The fourth base that he established was solely for gas, and now that he's low on minerals, he cannot even train the necessary units. He's still floating a good amount of minerals, but he does not have the larva, as the Corruptors are now trying to do a bit of a flyby. Alright, Bly now doing a good job cleaning up some of those Stalkers. It looks as though the Zealots, however, finishing off the natural expansion, and I do believe the GG is coming in. This attack force can simply move its way forward and take down the main base, take down the layer, and take down all of that key tech. Game 1 going to San in an impressive fashion. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.